This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
Welcome to ATL Day Ones. I am Tenitra Batiste, and I have a special guest, a familiar guest in the house with us. Jarvis Davis is out living his best life for his birthday, so happy birthday to our guy. And thank you guys, as always, for rocking with us. We appreciate you joining us on YouTube, getting us almost to 2,000 subscribers for this Locked On Sports Atlanta network. And of course, subscribing, liking, follow us. We appreciate it all. And wherever you download your podcast, whatever platform that is, make sure you give us a 5-star review, whether that is Jarvis rocking with us or the amazing Miss Maria Martin, 11 Alive anchor for us here in the A. We just appreciate you guys stopping by. So first and foremost, family, we got to give a welcome and much love to Maria. What's happening, my friend?
I am so happy to be here, Tenitra. I'm not as cool as Jarvis, but I'm going to try to be. And happy birthday to Jarvis. We love him so much. And yeah, thank you guys for listening and watching. They do such a great job, and I'm honored to be able to fill in today.
Absolutely. And Maria is as cool as he is, by the way. Just saying, you guys are going to see. So listen, we've got a great show planned for you guys. As always, we're going to start off talking about those guys who rocked it at Truist Park, getting it done with defense, amazing pitching, and another walk-off like, whew, man, they give us cardiac arrest all day, every day, but you love to see it. And also, we're looking for our team down on the south side to bounce back tonight. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then look, we know everybody has all eyes on what's going to happen 2 days from now at State Farm Arena. New GM, newly minted GM as of July 1st, Landry Fields gave us a little sneak peek. And so Maria and I are going to react to where we think the Hawks are going to go based on what GM Landry Fields has said. And also, as always, guys, we got your sports, entertainment, and culture intersection. We call it For the Culture. And we're going to talk a little bit about some cool things, or maybe not so cool things happening. You guys stick around to see. But first things first, Maria and I talking Braves. Maria, you were out there last night covering the game, starting this 7-game homestand for the Braves, kicking it off with the Giants 4-game series. And once again, it was one of those things where as I was watching the game and kind of looking at the highlights, I'm like, boy, I can't wait to hear what Maria's thoughts are on what she thought about what stood out to her. So we could go Max Fried in terms of that amazing 7 innings of 1-run AK ball. We could go with the walk-off home run and talking about the fact that once again, we're getting things done in different pockets, like an Orlando Arcia, or the fun of Joc Pederson being back in the building. What say you in terms of what you thought was really the best of what you saw in game 1 of this 7-game homestand?
Well, I think first and foremost, it was so exciting to see Joc Pederson back in the building for sure. I was really pleased with the way that fans recepted him, as they should. And I think it's still so funny to me how much he is loved. He was only with the Braves for a couple of months. You know, they traded for him after the All-Star break. Yet he seriously is like the biggest celebrity when he's around Braves fans. It's so crazy. I love that. He's such a good guy, and it was good to talk to him. Everyone knows that Joc is outspoken. And a lot of the times, he's not very talkative. But when we did talk to him in the dugout before the game, he had a lot to say, how special Braves country was. He said actually walking into the ballpark, the coolest part to him and his favorite part about Truist Park and really just being in Atlanta was the hospitality. He said all of the stadium workers were so happy to see him, said, hey, Joc. So it was cool to see him. He pinch hit in the 9th and he got a standing ovation. People cheered for him. And then he almost hit a home run, and it went just right at the foul pole. And I was like, wait a second, chill out. We don't need any of that. You can just show up, and we can cheer for you. And that. Right. I was expecting some boos after that, and people did. But it was good to see him back in the building. But I think for the Braves, what stood out to me the best is that the way that this lineup is able to produce hits and meaningful at-bats has been so crucial. We saw what they did in the 14-game win streak. Obviously, they got 2 in Chicago, and it was kind of weird. But the fact that Orlando Arcia has been able to step up and really hit the baseball at key moments is so crucial. We saw him hit that walk-off win. I think it was his 4th career walk-off. And the fact that he's been able to step into the place of Ozzie Albies and shine was outstanding. Max Fried, as you mentioned, Tenitra, on the mound. he was almost unstoppable. I mean, this is the max that we know he can be. He is the ace
Right.
of the ball club, and it was so great to see him on the mound. I wish he could have gone a little bit more, but obviously after getting a couple of those guys on bases later in the game, he had to be pulled. But it was really a pitcher's duel until late, and it was exciting to see the Braves start off against an NL West team that is contending. So this is going to be a big measuring stick for the Braves, starting with the Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing I love about it as well is we saw in that run of 14 games, if you will, we saw the bats just came alive, right? And it was every game we were talking about multiple home runs from multiple batters. But this time, I don't know, I really love the fact that this was a tight game, like you said, with a true contender. And the Braves showed that from a defensive perspective, they can get it done. And the walk-off, which it was a single, right? And the reason I think that's important is because, like you said, efficient at-bats. Not every at-bat is going to be a solo shot, a long ball, if you will. But when you get that at-bat, especially someone like Orlando Arcia, are you making it count? And I really, really love that. And even when you get into a jam like the Braves got into in the 8th inning, to know that the night shifter, what do they call themselves? I think they've remixed the name, so it's like no more night shift.
Yeah.
So we've deaded the night shift, but to see the bullpen really come through, and we're seeing Kenley Jansen get back to the Kenley Jansen we saw at the beginning of the season. I thought that those were some really good takeaways from that game as well. I actually love to see a 2-1 win, because to me, it shows even after the stretch of the 14 games, now that we're sort of in the 16-2 space. So yeah, we can't say undefeated in June anymore, but we can say 16-2 in June, to get in this space as we're slowly but surely approaching the trade deadline, slowly but surely approaching All-Star. We know the Braves can get it done in different ways. And to your point, when Arcia does what he did, it takes that pressure off of Alex Anthopoulos of thinking that you have to go out and get somebody to replace Ozzie at second base, and also, to your more important point, to replace what he was starting to do at the plate. And the other thing I think you mentioned, which I think is a great point as well, is this. When you look at the fact that we're starting this particular homestand with the Giants, and you're looking at playing the Dodgers upcoming, you're looking at some serious contenders in your own league, if you will. You look at a game like this and you say they won that first game, which is always a good look, but you look at the entire series and you say to yourself, does winning this game, or even winning this series against a team like the Giants, does it feel like it's bigger than it is, or is it really this big?
I mean, I think that it's a little bit of both, for sure. And if you ask manager Brian Snicker, he'll tell you the same thing that Bobby Cox used to say, is that you just play the schedule. But this really is an important part of the schedule. We saw that they were able to reel off 14 straight against teams that really aren't that good. But now when you turn the corner and you have a lot of National League teams coming down the stretch, not just the Giants, but the Dodgers, and then the Phillies, who have been virtually unbeatable this summer. I mean, that is so important for the Braves to make sure that they can show that they can contend. And look, I think what we need to mention is that at this point in the year, last year, they were not in as good of a position as they are now. They have a little bit more wiggle room before the All-Star break, which is a good look. You mentioned that gives you a little bit more breathing room. So I think if they can show that they can at least either split or contend against both the Giants and the Dodgers, that'll bode so well for the Braves heading into the Phillies series and also before the All-Star break.
Yes, and then to have the confidence, especially in what we saw in his last outing, for Spencer Strider coming up tonight in game 2. I think that's also a good thing, Maria, that we're starting to see that pitching staff, if you will, kind of round itself out. And we know we get the ups and downs of a Charlie Morton, and sometimes Kyle Wright will have a little bit of a dust up there in maybe an early inning. But to see that rotation is starting to round out with what Spencer Strider is able to do, finding that second pitch, to put it in its arsenal and really befuddle batters, I think that's a wonderful thing for the Braves as well. So again, really, I think we've all said it in different ways. While we didn't want to lose someone like an Ozzie Albies, if you had to, compared to where you were maybe last year when you lost a Ronald Acuna Jr., if you will, or other players went down, you're in a much better position as the Braves than you were last year. But a team that is going into this offseason, not as good a position as they were in last offseason, the Atlanta Hawks. But we got a new GM in place who's been around for a minute. And we want to talk in that next segment about how he's going to proceed in the next 48 hours. It's ATL Day Ones. Come back on the other side, and you'll hear Maria and I talk all about it.